Where did you get a cow? Hey guys, welcome back to Chaotic Commentary. Today we ask ourselves the age-old question, am I the asshole? Let's get into it. Am I the asshole for expecting my girlfriend to cancel her plans for me? My girlfriend is super into hiking and we planned a trip to Cali that involved a hike in the Grand Canyon she always wanted to do. We did a hike the day before that was too intense for me and I'm not as fit as her. I finished but I couldn't go on the other hike, aka the dream hike of hers. It was also not meant to be done in one day and the ranger said it was hard to do in one day and not advised. She said she was confident she could do it, saying she had hiked harder and she is very fit, but I just felt she was discounting what the ranger said. I said I wasn't going and she said she would go alone and I asked her to wait till tomorrow for me to recover. She said the weather report had a 30% chance of rain for tomorrow and that she wasn't going to give up on a bucket list hike and if I still wanted to do it tomorrow, she would do it again with me. I got mad because I felt like she was okay with abandoning me with nothing to do at her campsite and I didn't want to talk to her that evening, but she didn't seem to care and prepped for her hike. She finished it the next day and I feel like she didn't care that I was too tired to hike and chose to go without me. To me, the people are more important than the activities, but to her, she definitely wanted to finish the hike at all costs. First comment. You went on a trip to go on this specific hike and only the day before realized you're not fit enough to go on said hike and you really expected her to just abandon her dream now that it was right there in front of her? You're the asshole. Yeah, that is true. Like, she went there to go on that hike and the next day if it was raining she wouldn't have been able to go. Like, it's on her bucket list. Maybe you shouldn't have gone to the hike on the first day. Am I the asshole for asking for a morning off for my baby on the weekends? A morning off from your baby? How's that work? My wife and I have a 6-month-old baby girl. She's mostly a stay-at-home mom. She works 2 half days a week and her sister watches the baby. I work full-time and go to school 1 day a week. We've always had an arrangement where she takes care of the household duties, cooking, cleaning, and now baby care, while I happily supported her monetarily. Honestly, we are both living our dream life and my wife does an absolute spectacular job at taking care of me and our little one. Take care of you. On weekends, we share baby duty. We usually make sure each of us gets our own alone time to do whatever we want. However, our little girl has hit a bit of a sleep regression, waking up every 2 hours. Since my wife breastfeeds, she's always taking care of the baby full-time overnight. She's a light sleeper and unfortunately has insomnia, whereas I am a deep sleeper and wouldn't wake up for baby cries anyway. Recently, my wife has been asking me to wake up with the baby both days on the weekends so she can get an extra hour of sleep. Baby wakes up around 7 a.m. I get the baby dressed and take over for that hour. But sometimes I want to be the one that gets to sleep in an extra hour. I brought this up to her and she says while she's happy to let me nap during the day, she really needs that hour because she can't nap like I can. We got into an argument about it and she says I'm being very insensitive when I know she is very exhausted and can't nap during the day and she struggles going back to sleep every time the baby wakes up. But I'm exhausted too. Work wears me out and school days are long. And I sometimes want the hour in the morning. I don't want to spend my time off napping. I want to play video games and chill out. You think she don't want to chill out? I've gotten mixed opinions on who is in the wrong here, or if there even is anyone in the wrong. Am I the asshole for asking us to share mornings off for sleep? Yes, you're the asshole. If she's getting up in the middle of the night to feed this baby because she breastfeeds, you ain't got no boobs to feed this baby. So obviously she's the one who has to get up to feed the baby. She can't get back to sleep at night because she has, every time the baby wakes up, she has to wake up too. Also, if she's doing all the housework and stuff, taking care of the baby all day, unless the baby is napping, where can she even get a nap? I feel like, yes, you've been an asshole. Like, that extra hour of sleep time, you don't want to spend your day off napping. You want to play video games and chill out. You think maybe she want to play video games and chill out. Sir, the audacity of you when this woman is taking care of all the household chores and the baby. She don't get no weekends off. Yeah, I know you work and you go to school. You have the weekends off. If she's doing all the like household chores to take care of the baby, she's not getting that weekend off the way you are. She still has to do work. So you're being very selfish for not wanting to give her an extra hour of sleep. Very, very, very high-key selfish of you, sir. Yes, you're the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling everyone that my mom got me fired and asking them for money? I, 18 female, had my first real job out of high school. I was working in a warehouse and I was going to apprentice as a parts technician. My dad helped me get the job. My mom hates that I didn't have a girly job. Oh, she's one of those, huh? What is a girly job? Cut it out. A job is a job, and if she enjoys the job and if the job pays well, Why do you care? She would constantly call and even show up there. I told her to please stop, that my boss didn't like her interruptions of my day. She would stop for a bit and then do it again. I finally blew my top at her and told her to leave me the F alone at work. She went on Facebook and complained about how I was an ingrate for not wanting to see my mom. She can see you after work. What's wrong with you? Let this child do her job and have a career and get away from your crazy behind. A bunch of people started saying that I was being mean to my mom and that she meant well and she wasn't hurting me. She is hurting you if she's affecting your ability to work and also affecting your job because your boss keeps telling you he don't like when your mama there. Yes, she is hurting you. Last week she showed up again. She actually tried to come in the back when I would not come out to see her. My boss was done. I was fired. And exactly, you said you weren't hurting her. You just got her fired. She lost her job. Now she don't have no money coming in. My dad says he will help me get another job, but I am pissed. So I went on Facebook and found every person who had called me mean and that said she wasn't hurting me. I spelled out why I got fired and I asked them to help me out with some money since her actions had cost me my job. Now all of a sudden they are turning on her, calling her overbearing and saying they didn't realize she was jeopardizing my employment. But none have sent any money. I don't really need it. I live with my dad and he says that as long as I'm in school or apprenticing, I don't need to pay for anything except my phone. My mom keeps calling and texting me asking me to stop telling people that she got me fired and that I'm embarrassing her by asking people who supported her for money. I think that I'm in the right for showing everyone who she is. My dad says that he's staying out of it. He said that the way she acts is the reason they got divorced. I can definitely see that. Yes, she got her fired. There was another video I did where people who are in the wrong hate to be called out for being in the wrong. You were wrong. You got your daughter fired. End of story. Deal with it. Embarrassing you. You embarrassed her by showing up to her job and then getting her fired and now she ain't got no job. I'm glad she lived with her daddy and not you. The hell? Crazy lady. Not a girly job. Get out of here. Am I the asshole for taking back our groceries that my wife gave to her sister? My wife, 30, has a younger sister, 28, with 4 kids. My sister-in-law is a married stay-at-home mother and her husband, 31, works 35 hours per week. Money is tight for them, but they still go on an annual vacation, drive new cars, etc. My wife and I keep separate finances except for a joint credit card and household bills. I also do most of the grocery shopping. This is relevant for later. A couple years ago, I found out my wife had been buying groceries for my sister-in-law on our joint card, about $150 to $200 per month for a few months. She said that her sister had come to her saying they were tight on money and that she needed help for feeding their kids. Stop going on vacation every year. This was about a month after they had got back from their most recent vacation in Mexico. I told my wife in no uncertain terms I am not supporting their family. She argued with me saying that we could more than afford it. I replied that I don't care if she wanted to support them, but that's her business. My wife stopped buying them groceries on our joint card after, but I'm sure she told her sister because sister-in-law has been standoffish since. How about take the money from these yearly annual vacations you going on and buy some food for your children, ma'am? In the last few months, grocery costs have been increasing thanks to inflation. Who you telling? As a cost-saving measure, I bought a whole cow for about $4K, which works out to be $9 a pound and will last us for more than a year. My wife and I split the cost. Hold up. Wait. Where y'all live at? Where you get a whole cow? And what? You bought 4,000. You bought a whole cow. That's a lot of beef. Y'all go eat hamburgers and steaks? Jeez. That's a lot of freaking beef. Yesterday I went to the freezer to pull out some steaks and saw the amount of beef was visibly lower. I checked our security cameras and saw my wife leaving the house with a big box. I texted her demanding to know if she had taken a bunch of our meat to sister-in-law, and she replied yes. I grabbed sister-in-law keys, we have a copy, drove to their house, knocked on the door, and when sister-in-law answered, I told her that I was taking back what my wife had brought over. Sister-in-law protested saying I was taking food out of her kids' mouths. But I said, I don't care. She already had one roast in the oven. I went to their freezer and they had about 40 to 50 pounds of ground beef, steaks, and roast from our cow. I still want to know where you got a cow. Including a couple of prime rib roasts. I grabbed it all except for the roast in the oven and drove home. My wife yelled at me saying she couldn't believe how selfish I was and that sister-in-law called her crying. She also said that she paid for half of it and she could do whatever she liked with it. I yelled back saying you don't get to decide to give away anything that we pay for together. Instead, she acted like a sneak thief for doing it behind my back, right? My wife is still angry at me and says until I apologize to her sister, return the meat that I took back, and apologize for calling her a thief, she won't speak to me. I may be the asshole because my wife pays for half the groceries. Before I even get to who is not the asshole, this is just hilarious to me. Where did you get a cow? You can, I mean, maybe I'm being ignorant, but you can just like go buy a whole cow. From where? A butcher, I guess. But it's still funny to me how you just like say you bought a whole cow for 4,000. That's a lot of hamburgers and steak you gonna be eating. You couldn't like buy half a cow and some chicken too. That's a lot of beef. Red meat not even good for you like that. That's a lot of red meat, sir. Update. Thanks for all the comments, suggestions, and criticisms. Regardless of the vote, consensus is my reaction and behavior was suboptimal, which I agree it was. I apologized to my wife for calling her a thief and that I would apologize to her sister for going over to her house in a huff and upsetting her, but I said I won't apologize for taking back the meat which we paid for jointly. I laid it all out and said my position on me not buying groceries for their family hadn't changed. I said her husband only works 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts, and if they're struggling for food, he needs to pick up more shifts. I also said taking vacations and having new cars is a luxury they can't afford if I have to pitch in and pay for their food. As some of you suggested, I asked my wife, why aren't you buying groceries with your own money if you want to support them? My wife responded she'd been buying them groceries for the past couple years with her own money because they're up to their eyeballs in loans and credit card debt. Stop going on vacation and buying expensive cars. Stop getting loans and getting credit cards. I swear, people be trying to live beyond their means and are surprised when they're broke. Stop. You think I wish I could afford to go on a vacation, but I'm not about to take my savings that I need to pay my mortgage and spend it on a vacation and then sit here twiddling my thumbs when I ain't got a roof over my head. My wife responded she's been buying them groceries for the past couple years with her own money because they're up to their eyeballs in loans and credit card debt, but inflation means their groceries have been costing her more and more. She then admitted to putting some things on our joint credit card in the last few months in smaller amounts than 2 years ago so I wouldn't notice. As for the beef, sister-in-law called her this past weekend crying, saying they needed help to the end of the month with food because one of the kids broke their iPad, which they used to keep the kids entertained, so they replaced it. So, instead of buying food, you bought a new iPad. It seems to me, ma'am, like you're the one taking food out of your kid's mouth and putting an iPad in there. The hell? Get your priorities. She didn't ask me about taking them beef because she knew I would say no if she told me about the iPad and didn't think I would notice since we had so much beef. She said I have no idea how hard it is to raise 4 kids and they need the iPad. No, they don't. I told her we need to go see a counselor because we're on different planets if she thinks an iPad is a necessity. So yeah, we're going to do therapy. Until then, I'm sleeping in the basement. She gonna make you sleep in the basement? Did you volunteer to sleep in the basement? Or did she make you sleep in the basement because why, over some beef? Your sister-in-law need to get her priorities in order. No, a damn iPad is not more important than freaking food. The hell? To keep your kids entertained. It's for them. They can entertain each other. Answers the common question. Why doesn't sister-in-law's husband work more or sister-in-law get a job? He does shift work 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts. He likes it because it frees him up to spend more time with the kids. Sister-in-law has never had a job beyond serving as a teenager. She need to go get a job then. And if she don't want to get a job, okay, I understand you want to spend more time with your kids, but you could easily like pick up or get a job that works 5 days a week. You still have the weekend with your kids, or except like after work time or before work time, depending on how old these kids is they in school? She can find a work from home job, something. Because if y'all struggling this much, y'all got 4 kids. Y'all need some more help. I understand if it was like maybe only 1 kid. Y'all got 4 kids. Life is too damn expensive. Like these days, either one person has to work 2 jobs, which is not fair to that one person, or there needs to be, both parties needs to be working. And I know it sucks to not be able to see your kids, but would you rather see your kids less or for your kids to starve to death? Because I'm pretty sure you'd rather your kids be alive, right? I'm pretty sure. Question 2. Why don't you put a lock on your freezer? I would like to stay married, and I'm certain if I did this, I would be married for very long. True. If she upset about you taking the beef back, she did for damn sure gonna be pissed if you lock the freezer. Did sister-in-law and her husband pay for their vacation cars themselves? I still don't know, but my guess would be credit cards and car loans if they're up to the eyeballs in debt, as my wife said. Right? People. In case for people who don't know this, loans and credit cards are not free money. You gotta pay that back. You can't just be going on vacations with loan money. Loans are for important things, not to go on a vacation to Mexico. How about you trade that car in for a car you can afford? How about that? What's wrong with y'all? A credit card debt and loan debt, and y'all want other people to pay for y'all groceries? Stop being irresponsible. Y'all talking about we have 4 kids to feed. If you done got married and have 4 kids, learn some responsibility, because there's no way you should be still living like a freaking college kid, just blowing money like it's just gonna just come right back to you. Grow up and be responsible for your kids. I'm not taking care of your kids for you. I didn't push them out. What's wrong with y'all? Last question. Why don't you compromise on helping them? A fair compromise to me, if I were to pitch in, would be for them to better manage their money, i.e. not going on annual vacations to Mexico. The last time I raised that, my wife said I was being judgmental. Maybe I'll propose it again in counseling. I'm sorry, but I am being judgmental. I'm very much judging you, because if you got 4 kids you know you gotta feed, but you're choosing to spend your money on vacations to Mexico in luxury vehicles, I'm judging you. Get your life together, grow up, and be responsible parents. Well, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell me down in the comments what your thoughts are on these Am I the Asshole stories. Which one was your favorite, and did you agree or disagree that they were the asshole? As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye!